All right. This was the warm up. We multiplied the mid segment times 2. This is the mid segment times 2 equals this one. And we distributed the 2, got rid of the smaller x, got rid of the loner, divided x is 12. That's it. Sheesh. All right, here we go. Here we go. The one that's like this. I think it was our friend right here. No. All right, look. Median. Any of y'all drive? Don't drive into the median. I mean, unless the median is not a island. Whatever. Okay, this has nothing to do with driving. So, what is a median? If you look at the picture, you can clearly see that this is in a corner, which is what we call a vertex. Write that down. And it goes from a vertex to this point in which there's 2 tick marks. Do y'all know tick marks means these are equal pieces? That means it's been cut in half. And what do you call the point in the mid where it cuts it in half? Midpoint. And vertex to midpoint makes what's called a vertex to midpoint is called a median, my friends. So whenever you have endpoints that are a segment whose endpoints are a vertex of a triangle and the midpoint of the opposite side. Cool? So if you're ever wondering what's a median, look at your notes. It's in the picture. Vertex to midpoint. Now, altitude. When you think of the word altitude, what do you think of? In the air, maybe up in the sky, maybe up a high mountain, high altitude, like a plane. But another word for altitude is that it's just really high, or the word height. Okay, you have an altitude, kind of small, but altitude is just how high is it? What's the height of it? And so to find the height of an altitude, it's also going to be at the vertex, but instead of going to the midpoint, it's just going to go straight down and make a right angle. What do you call that? You call that perpendicular. It's perpendicular through the vertex. It's a perpendicular segment from a vertex to the line containing the opposite side. Okay, write those 2 down. I'm about to move on to the next one. Okay, next one. Mid segment. Now, didn't we learn this yesterday? Didn't we learn this yesterday? And we did a warm up on it today. It's from midpoint to midpoint. So instead of to a vertex like the median, it's from midpoint to midpoint. That is a. Oh, wow. I don't know. I don't know. So, a segment that joins the 2 midpoints of opposite sides, or sorry, different sides of a triangle, is a mid segment. A segment so mid that it connects midpoint. On your back. Now, next one is a angle bisector. Does everyone know what bisect means? Bi is 2, sect means cut. Bisect is cut into 2 equal parts, right? Please don't. Now, an angle bisector, when you see these 2 little angles with these little tick marks? So 2 equal angles. If you see 2 little equal angles, that means that big angle has been cut in half. That's an angle bisector. A segment that bisects an angle into 2 Congruent angles. I guess that's the word I should have used. Congruent, not equal. Two congruent angles. All right. I was impersonating an elephant. Now, probably. Now, this last one's also a bisector, which means what? Cut into equal parts. But instead of cutting the angle in half, now it's cutting the segment in half. That's what a bisector means. So when it says bisect, that means that this is a midpoint. So mid. And since it says the word perpendicular, it's got to have a right angle. So it's got at a midpoint, and it's perpendicular. A segment that is bisected, a segment that is perpendicular, I should say, to a segment at the segment's midpoint. Okay, write that down, flip it over. We're going to do one little thing. Yeah, together. Now, on the back side, altitude. We just talked about it. Let me remind you, altitude is like the height of something. When you have a height, it goes straight down to the ground, making it a 90-degree angle. Same thing with the triangle. Height is straight from the tippy top vertex, straight down, making a 90-degree angle. So again, it is a perpendicular segment from a vertex to the line containing the opposite side. Every triangle has 3 altitudes, depending on which vertex you start from. And altitude can be inside, outside, or on the triangle. So, first of all, I want you to label these types of triangles, right? Put that away. This first triangle, all the angles are less than 90. I'll call that acute triangle. Write this down. But the second one, this B is pretty big. That's a big old B. So that's going to be called obtuse. And then the third one, I can clearly see this is right. So these are the 3 different types of angle classifications. What are we going to find out about the altitude? Since you don't have a ruler or a protractor, we're going to sketch this, okay? From A, on the first one, you want to go straight down to make 90 degrees. So I'm going to do it like a dashed line and put a right angle there. That altitude is inside the triangle. Straight down. This is where it gets weird. If you move, you need what's here? Now, if it's outside, it's going to go straight down. Watch this. Straight down. But when you go straight down, that's weird because it's outside of the triangle, right? So that's possible that you can have an altitude outside of the triangle if it's an obtuse triangle. Outside. Last but not least is a right triangle. If I go straight down, do you see how it's like just following that line? It's already right. So it's on the edge of a right triangle. Write that down, and we're going to do an example together. You try it all together. And it should take like 5 minutes. Calls. Block. Block people. Family. By the way. Your headphone in your ear. Where's the other headphone? Really? Is that the truth or a lie? What about the other ear? Wow. I'm so sorry. All right, now check it out. If we're talking about medians, y'all remember what a median is? If you did it, you could flip it over and clearly see that it's from a vertex to a midpoint. So This is weird because like there's multiple lines and what are we talking about here? So here's what we're talking about. Two little questions. If CN equals NP, if it tells you things are congruent, you can go ahead and label it. CN, NP. And then it says blank is a median of cap. So what I'm going to do is kind of outline cap. C to the A to the P, my guy. So check this out. All I care about is TAP. So I'm going to see where my hand is. Like, ignore that. Hey, get back. Wake up. Huh? Yeah, you. Now look, TAP. It asks us, what is the median? So what goes from the vertex to the midpoint on that triangle right here? Yeah, what two letters is the median? A to N. A is the vertex, N is the midpoint. It's vertex to midpoint. AN. Cool. And then, same picture, if AP is a median. So now I'm looking over here. If A to P is a median of A and B. Now I'm looking at this triangle over here. Okay. A and B. If AP is a median from vertex to midpoint, if this is a midpoint, what do I know about these two little pieces right here? Congruent, congruent. So that's what they're asking me. What is equal to what? This piece to this piece. NP to PB. Cool. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to try the next one. Do the you try to the right, based on what we just talked about. You try, please. 2 minutes. Yeah. Not a good ass. Never mind. Take back my word. What was the matter? 6. Rough. Who's in it? Stupid episode feels good. It's better than a plan to get a one. I hope you just get excited for something. That's pretty ugly. Or just be honest. All right, ready? All right. So, my friends, my family. If FH is a median, then that means F is a midpoint. That means that these two next to it are the same, EF and FG. Okay? And if DE is equal to EF, then that makes this a midpoint. So that means EH is the median. All right, I'm done. You got time now to work on these assignments from yesterday. Triangle inequality, it's pretty straightforward. And then mid-segment might take you a few moments to think about some of this stuff. But you can do it. All right, let's get it.